If my sister and I were both Lamingtons, how would you tell us apart? This is my younger sister, Christy. We are 5 years apart. We are two very different people. We both like a clean house and getting in the kitchen for a bit of cooking, but there are a lot of other things that set us apart. She married her high school sweetheart, Isa Kelly.
He was a trolley boy. And
You have to say that?
I was always getting milk conveniently for Nana.
I knew she was the one.
And I was going, oh my gosh, that's him, that's him, that's him. And Emerald was turning around and goes, oh my gosh, he's so short. I hope you don't grow, Christy. I hope he grows taller because you're going to be taller than him. And I was like, oh my God, please, Lord, please make him grow. I just wanted him to grow a bit taller. And now he's about that much taller than me.
That's enough. I am.
Christy is always shopping. I guess that is the one thing that sets us apart. She lives and breathes fashion, whereas I couldn't care less. I'm always telling her she's wasting her money.
You put your keys on it and it finds your keys. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I'm going to go get the kids' jumpers. It's getting a bit dark. Come on, guys. Come and get some warm clothes on.
My sister is such a mothering soul. I have 3 kids and they all love to visit with her. Our other sister has 2 boys plus Betty's son. That makes 6. And she happily has them over for a weekend all at the same time. Crazy. She doesn't have her own children yet, but it's in her near future.
I wanted heaps when I was younger. I wanted 6.
Well, I'll be happy with 1.
But now I'd be happy with 2.
Yeah, 2 would be a bonus.
Not 1. I want more than 1.
There are 5 of us in total. Me, Christy and Melissa. Then through my dad's second marriage, Shani and Leon joined the family. We're all really close and very similar, but Christy is the odd one out.
My mum always said, God bless me with good looks. No. I always put makeup on it kind of as a mask for who I really am.
If me and my sister were Lamingtons, she would be the jam-filled kind. My sister has cystic fibrosis. This disease is multifaceted. It has not only attacked her lungs, but also her entire digestive system, her skeleton, and now she has developed type 1 diabetes as well.
When she was born, I could brush the salt off her forehead, off her face, off her arms. I didn't even have to lick her forehead, but I did, to make sure that she had cystic fibrosis. And she did, to me, she did.
Did the doctors ask you to?
Well, the doctors told me that that's one of the signs, a lot of salt. And if you lick the baby's forehead when it's born and it's very salty, you'll know. I knew, very salty.
Could you see the salt?
I could brush it off her forehead. That's how salty she was.
I can tell the difference between the coughs, you know, when she's sick and when she's not.
And now we're going to start my daily routine. So we'll start in the kitchen here.
Christy has always had to take a lot of medication. I always felt sorry for her. I had trouble swallowing Panadol when I was little, so I always watched in amazement when she would knock back her pill cocktails.
This here is my medication regime. And so every morning I have to do my oral antibiotics.
My mum has always been Christy's rock. When Christy was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, my mum studied the disease in her efforts to give Christy the best treatment and longer life.
They call it a lung disease because they die from the lungs collapsing, but it's actually all in the body. The sticky mucus gets into all the cells and it affects the digestive system, affects the whole body.
Cystic fibrosis, also known as CF, hugely affects the way Christy digests her food. Her pancreas does not produce enzymes needed to break down what she eats. When she was born, her bowels were a problem right from the start. She had a meconium blockage. On her way to have surgery at just a day old, a priest stopped in to pray for her. She miraculously passed the blockage without surgery. It was a ray of hope for my mum and family. Christy's suffering didn't end there. She had to take 40 enzymes with her meals to help with the digestion process. She would be full before she began her meal. But the tablets weren't working the way the doctors had hoped.
They found out that enzymes were actually contributing to the distended bowel and damaging the actual bowel. And that's when I refused to take the enzymes. I said, don't worry about it, I need to do this on my own. I went vegan and just was like, I need to take control of this situation because it's ridiculous. No more enzymes, it's ruining my body.
Her bowels were never the same after the enzymes did their damage. She would suffer the worst kind of bowel blockages imaginable. Her fight with this lasted quite a few years.
My bowel blockages were so bad that I was spewing up feces. That's how bad it was.
She was only a baby when we used to leave her in the hospital by herself. I would feel scared for her, but she grew used to it, and other CF kids in there would soon become her closest friends.
It's all been repainted, but it used to all be old. So we'd all meet up together to do our lung function and compete. And we'd come through here.
Did you ever win?
Oh yeah, I used to win all the time. They would have like about 15 beds, and all of us, all the older CFs used to be put in there together. So this was the CM2 as well. This was a long, massive corridor, one like we're walking in, with beds on either side. It was huge. And so there'd be like babies and everyone. And then outside of that was like a huge play area. Remember the play area? And it was like, it used to be just like caged in area, and like I'd see you all walking down the stairs and wave goodbye. We'd all make our Milos, and Sheila, the nurse, she was everyone's grandma. We used to call her grandma, everyone, all the CS. She used to take care of all the CS. She used to make spiders, massive drinks with lemonade and ice cream galore. This is the chapel. We spent a lot of time in here praying and hiding from the blood test ladies.
My mum often talks about Christy's experiences with blood tests and IVs as a small child. The memories still make her cringe.
There was one time where she had the one in the head. That was horrible. They had to strap this board around, and because if she knocked it, it would come out of the vein in the head. So I'd always say every time she went in there, please don't put it in her head. Try and find somewhere else to put it.
How old was she when she had it in her head?
About 18 months.
Christy is often getting prodded like a pincushion. She has to get regular blood tests, but often the needle is left thirsty. Sometimes doctors think they know better, and most often they do. But no one knows Christy's body better than her.
So why would it be hard to find a vein?
Oh, everyone's just a little bit different. It's not uncommon.
Because they've had too many.
Yeah. If you have had a lot of cannulas before, it can damage the vein and make it difficult to get cannulas in. But some people just always have small veins, and you can't.
I used to be alright until I've got 6. I've had 6 ports.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to scare you.
So why did you have the ports put in previously?
Oh, I've got cystic fibrosis.
Oh,
Yeah.
When Christy had to get her first portacath, it was scary for the whole family. But it meant that she didn't have to go through trying to produce a vein suitable enough to hold an IV for her drugs. She had hospital admissions every 6 weeks, so this saved a lot of heartache. She had a few portacaths in her time, but I remember one in particular that we would never forget, Christy's first brush with death as a teenager.
But I started experiencing pain, a lot of pain. The needle started coming out all the time, and I started experiencing really bad pain down my leg. Went home to Nana's, and within about a week, I collapsed in the shower and my leg had blown out double the size and turned purple. They said, oh my goodness, she's got a massive blood clot in her femoral vein. We need to put her in emergency surgery now. And if the clot travels, it could kill her instantly.
It took a long time for Christy to heal from that surgery. Thank God she had a new and improved one.
Today we're accessing Christy Lee's portacath, which gets accessed every 6 to 8 weeks. And basically, as individuals with CF get older and with repeated IV access, they actually don't have enough access in their arms or in their groins to actually access their veins normally. So that means that we have to resort to actually putting a portacath in them. I think the biggest thing with CF is that people don't realise how multifaceted, I guess it is. Like, it's not just their lungs, they're just not coughing. Also, it's an adult disease now. So people carry these things into their adulthood, and as they get older, there is a more chance that they'll get diabetes. There is a more chance that they can have problems with their bones because they're getting older. And so perhaps at one time they weren't protected so much when they were younger with drugs and stuff like that, but now we know this is happening. They're getting protected more now, but these guys have to then cope with things that are already going wrong because they didn't have that protection when they were children.
We were in hospital all the time, most of our childhood. There was a group of us. It was Holly, Tara, Amy, Jamie, and I'm the only one left. And little Kerry was a lot younger than us, but she used to always be in hospital with us.
I always looked up to Christy a lot because she used to sort of help me. It made our stay a lot easier in the hospital, having somebody else to talk to and look up to, for me anyway. I
think it was good to see older CS because it meant that we were going to be that. You know, when we see older CS, it's like, okay, you know what, there's hope.
Yeah.
You know, for us. But, like now as an adult, I don't have anyone to look up to, so that is a little scary for me. Whereas, you know, like if I was to die, it would be probably very, very frightening for a lot of the younger CS because they would be shocked. I've always been known as the one that, you know, does everything and fight right to the end, you know.
If Christy can do it, we can do it. That's how we sort of look at it.
Tara was my best friend. She was 14 when she passed away. I remember we were all sitting down in a group therapy session and Keza had a real hard time about accepting Tara dying. It was a bit of a shock, I guess, because we had all these plans as adults, you know, me and Tara sitting by the pool, sunbaking. You know, we had a very close relationship, or like soulmates. I felt it, you know. So when she died, I felt like a part of me had died with her. You know, I still celebrate her birthday every year, and even her death, you know. I can go to you know, what are those people that read your cards?
Psychic.
Yeah, and they'll always bring up Tara. They'll always say, I have a angel sitting on my side, a young female girl smiling down, and I have a young boy on this side. So I've always, the way they had described it was Tara and Warren, my brother. So, which makes sense because, you know, I've always come out of scary moments, you know, where I've nearly died, yet I've come out.
Why I was so strict was because I had a little boy before Christy, and when he was born, he always looked sickly, but we never knew what it was. He started coughing a lot. I'd take him to doctors and they'd go, oh, there is some disease that has those symptoms, but can't put my finger on it. And right up until he was 10 months, I was taking him to the hospital every week, and the files would be there once a week at least, to the doctor up the road, getting him antibiotics, which didn't do anything. And yeah, then I took him to the hospitals one day because he was coughing so much, and they took a chest x-ray which showed a slight pneumonia on one side, and they said to me, well, you can take him home with some antibiotics, or you can put him in and we'll give him a drip and he'll be home in 2 days. So, you know, I knew there was something wrong, but it's hard when you're a mother and they start to think that you're a bit neurotic because you're taking him to the doctors all the time. So when he went in there, I'd go up the next day and it wasn't getting any better. Then a week goes by, not getting any better. And then they ended up testing him because the change of antibiotics didn't work either. And they did a sweat test and found all the salt that I was talking about before. But by that time, he was well and truly too sick. They still gave me positive thinking, saying that he was going to be okay, he was going to get through it. And it was just one thing led to another where they had to put him to sleep on a ventilator. And so, like, he really never came out of hospital. his heart just gave way because there was too much congestion in his lungs.
I miss my brother and I wish he was here. Maybe that is selfish of me because CF is not kind to the body. I mean, what disease is? But at least Chris would have someone close to her that understood her burden.
Do you wish that you had Warren or?
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be good to have someone else to talk to and stuff. I think more so as an adult now, not as a kid. As a kid, yeah, of course, but as an adult, you need someone now because all my friends are gone, so I have no one really to talk to.
I've had a lot of hope and faith that she won't die. And I think it's just the strong will, which I've passed on to her. And just keep saying that there's going to be a cure.
I think it's an emotional struggle. You know, when I was growing up, not everyone knew that I was sick.
Christine's my best friend. Yeah. I would say more than that, really. She's, I would say, my soulmate. I think about her a lot. She's always on my mind. She's the one person I would call for anything, go to for anything.
Betty is a lot different friend, you know, to what other people that I've had. You know, I don't have to feel like ashamed of my disease. It's like when I was a kid, I felt really embarrassed by it all the time, and I would never take my medication. I would hide it in particular.
I think that her disease has shaped a lot of her personality. She's had to get a very thick exterior to deal with everything that goes on in her life.
She's the one that takes me to my doctor's appointments every day. Yeah. She's the one that will call in sick if I have to go somewhere, or, you know, she's the one that will catch a bus and a train into the city, so she will leave her car with me. Yeah. You know, she's the one that will, you know, get a payment of some sort and go, oh my gosh, I've got $300, let's go shopping. Let's go shopping.
To be able to go for a walk without having to stop and cough and cough and cough and cough, and then we have to go home. Or, you know, to go on a ride, or we wanted to go on a holiday for the best part of 3 years, and we can't do it because she can't get life insurance.
I feel helpless, you know, I want to help her, but I know I can't do anything apart from, you know, loving her.
It's when I cough, 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 vomit, 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 cough, 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 vomit, 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 for like a good hour.
Sometimes it's unbearable to watch her cough. She coughs so much that she pulls muscles in her back. She tries everything to ease the pain. Her lungs have copped a lot of infections. One of the scariest moments for us was when she started having arterial bleeds from her chest. Seeing her mouth fill with blood is an image I will never forget.